You cannot walk in a straight line. Nobody can. Take away the landmarks and every human alive drifts into a circle. So why does your own body quietly betray you the moment the world goes blank? Strip away the cues, blindfold you, drop you in a whiteout, lose you in a forest where every tree wears the same face, and you will loop. And here's the strange part. You'll swear the whole time that you walked dead straight. That's not clumsiness. It's not a bad sense of direction. Every human alive does it. And the reason is stranger than you got confused. You know the feeling, even if you've never been truly lost. You're off the trail, but you're calm because you're sure. The road is this way. I just keep going straight and I hit it. So you walk, confident, steady. And then you see footprints in the snow ahead of you, fresh ones, and your stomach drops because they're yours. So how does a person walk a full circle and feel every single second like they're going straight? Let's start with the part we can actually prove. In 2009, a researcher named Jan Suman strapped GPS units to people and turned them loose, some in the Sahara Desert, some in a thick German forest, and just watched where they went. When the sun or the moon was out, they walked roughly straight. The moment it clouded over or the trees swallowed the sky, they started to loop. Same people, same legs. The only thing that changed was whether they could see the world. And the tracks are almost eerie to look at. In the forest, under cloud, some walkers crossed their own trail again and again, tracing loops without ever once knowing. The same desert walkers who held a decent line under a bright sun would, hours later under thick cloud, curl right back on themselves, as if the flat ground had quietly bent underneath them. So it isn't you, it's the missing sky. But that opens a bigger question. Why would losing something as far away as the sun bend the path of your own 2 feet? Because you don't have one navigation system. You have two, and they only work well together. The first one is obvious. Landmarks. The sun, a mountain, a tower, that one weird bent tree. You aim at something far away and walk toward it, and it holds you honest. The second one is hidden, and it's the interesting one. Even with your eyes shut, your brain is quietly tracking your own movement, every step, every turn, keeping a running guess of which way am I facing and how far have I come. Sailors call the same trick dead reckoning. Your body does it without ever asking your permission. And most of the time you never notice that second system because the first one is silently correcting it. Aim at the mountain and every glance snaps your inner compass back to true. Take the mountain away and something quietly comes undone. Peter, you can hear that undoing better than anyone. But first, Sarah, you've actually been lost like this. What does it feel like from the inside?
Yeah, so the frightening part isn't panic, it's confidence. You feel completely sure. The trees all start to look the same, and instead of scaring you, that sameness kind of soothes you, because your brain fills it in. Yes, this is the way. Keep going. Your body feels like it's walking a straight line. Every muscle reports straight, and you believe it. Because why wouldn't you? It's the only report you're getting. Then you spot your own tracks, Tom, and it's this sick little lurch, because the ground is telling you something your whole body swore couldn't be true.
Right. So the body is lying, but not on purpose. It genuinely thinks it's telling the truth, which is the whole mystery. If everyone feels straight, where does the curve actually come from? Here's the thing about that inner estimate. It has nothing to check itself against. With the landmarks gone, there's no outside reference to say, actually, you've drifted 3 degrees left. So a tiny error on step 1 never gets erased. It rides into step 2 and step 3, and the errors don't cancel out. They stack. Give a small, steady, lean enough steps, and a straight line quietly bends into a circle. On an open field, blindfolded, people loop in circles, often less than 20 meters across. You cannot cross a football pitch with your eyes shut, that small, that fast. But why is there a lean at all? What tilts the very first step? Peter, this is the part you get almost gleeful about, why the drift is basically unavoidable. Lay it out.
Because it's math, and the math is merciless. Dead reckoning is integration. You're adding up a long chain of little movements to guess where you are. And every real sensor is noisy. Your muscles, your inner ear, the balance system spinning inside your skull, none of them are perfectly clean. They're a hair off, at random, every step. With your eyes open, that noise gets wiped the instant you look at the horizon. Blind, there is no wipe. Picture a gyroscope. Spin one up and it holds its heading beautifully, but leave it running with nothing to reset it, and it slowly, silently rotates off true. Nobody pushes it. It just drifts. That is your sense of straight ahead. With the sky gone, your internal heading rotates a degree at a time, and you follow the drift faithfully, feeling absolutely nothing. And here's the cruel law of it. Integrate noise long enough, and it always curves. Not sometimes. Always. Your inner compass isn't betraying you. It's doing flawless arithmetic on dirty numbers, and dirty numbers added up far enough spiral.
Huh. So it's not just that one leg is longer than the other.
Right, and that's the tell. If it were only a lopsided body, you'd always circle the same way. You don't. The same person loops left one day and right the next. So it isn't a fixed flaw in the frame, it's that accumulating noise, drifting a fresh direction each time. Which is almost worse, Tom. You can't fix it by walking more carefully. The machine is working exactly as designed.
And that word, designed, is where this stops being a story about getting lost and becomes a story about what you actually are. Because your brain never evolved to hold an abstract straight line across empty space. Empty space, with no cues at all, barely existed for your ancestors. They moved through a world stuffed with anchors, the arc of the sun, the fixed stars, the shape of a ridge, the smell of the sea, a route walked 100 times and remembered in the legs. Deep inside you there are specialized cells for this, grid cells, place cells, a whole living map of where you are. But that map was built to be constantly fed by the world. It was never meant to run alone. So the circling isn't a bug in you, it's simply what a landmark reading animal does the second you switch off the landmarks. The desert didn't punish your ancestors for this, it never took the sky away. The world they walked was wall to wall with anchors, and their hardware assumed, correctly, that it always would be. Your ancestors weren't master navigators because they could hold a mental straight line. They were masters because they read everything at once, and that skill is so good and so quietly automatic that you never once feel yourself using it, until the day the world goes blank and your feet start drawing circles in the snow. Sarah, that reframe actually lands as kind of comforting, doesn't it?
It really does. Because every time you've thought, I have a terrible sense of direction, you don't. You have a beautiful one. It's just starving. Feed it a horizon, a landmark, one distant tree to walk toward, and it goes razor sharp again in a heartbeat. That's the whole trick every survival guide teaches. Pick a far point, walk straight to it, then when you reach it, pick the next one, and the next. You're not repairing a broken compass, Tom. You're feeding it by hand. Spoon-feeding your brain the one thing it was always built to run on, one anchor at a time, until you're out. And there's something almost tender in that. You are not the confident, self-contained little navigator you feel like. You are an animal that only knows where it is because the world keeps telling it.
And that's the quiet, unsettling part to sit with. Because if your sense of dead straight can drift this far, this confidently, the moment it loses its data, and never once warn you it's guessing, then straight ahead was never the only thing your brain was quietly filling in. It fills the gap. It always fills the gap. It hands you a clean, certain answer and hides the fact that it's improvising the whole time. You just happen to catch it this once because the snow keeps the receipts. Your own footprints, waiting there ahead of you, proof that the surest feeling you had all day was a circle from the very first step.